Real Madrid's got that whole new Galacticos energy going.
What about the second ball? Mbappe's onside, he's completely mishit it, but it's rolled over the line.
Mbappé, Vinícius Júnior, Rodrigo, and Bellingham are all up front, just cooking defenders. And running the whole show from the sideline, Carlo Ancelotti, the man with more Championship League titles than anybody.
Listen to this atmosphere. A la Madrid, y nada más, y nada más.
Now, everybody talks about Ancelotti like he's this elite man manager, this guy who just knows how to handle big personalities and keep the squad happy. And yeah, that's true. But have you ever noticed how nobody really talks about his tactics? Like he's out there just letting vibes do the work? But hold on, this man has won at least one trophy every single season since coming back to Madrid in 2021. So maybe, just maybe, he's got the game figured out in a way these so-called tactical masterminds don't. After that Championship League clash with Atletico, everybody was asking, what formation was that? And the funniest part, if you walked up to Ancelotti himself and asked, he'd probably just shrug. The man has literally said before that if you asked whether they played a 4-3-3 or a 4-4-2, he wouldn't even know. That right there tells you everything. Ancelotti is in a league of his own. In a football world where everybody's overanalyzing and fixated on the rigid positional play, he's out there proving there's a different way to do things. Sure, Guardiola laid down the blueprint, but now it feels like everyone else, Arteta, Alonso, Company, Maresca, is just following the same playbook. But Ancelotti, he's still that guy, still winning, still proving there's more than one way to get it done. And this isn't some underdog story either. This is Real Madrid, stacked with talent, money, and depth. But the way they play, it just hits differently. Less robotic, more instinctive. And here's the crazy part. Ancelotti is the only coach in the last 5 seasons to send Guardiola packing from the Champions League over 2 legs. And not just once, 3 times. So you gotta ask yourself, why him? What's the secret? Well, everybody always points to the same thing, how he handles people. That's the real magic with Ancelotti.
He doesn't push it all the time. He's quite happy to do the one thing that every single coach wants to do on a regular basis, and that's win. And he doesn't go to the top of the mountain and start shouting it to everybody. I think that's why people don't think of him in terms of like these superstars.
Just look at Kaká, Ballon d'Or winner, played under him at Milan. When Sky Sports asked him about Ancelotti, he didn't hesitate. Carlo was the best for him. And why? Not because of his tactics, not because of formations, but because of how he managed people. And that was the game changer. Sure, he knows football inside and out, but it's the way he treats his players that really makes a difference. And the wildest part? Ancelotti doesn't even try to hide it. He's straight up about how he operates. If Vinícius or Rodrigo feel better drifting wide when they've got the ball, he lets them. He's not barking orders, telling them to stick to a rigid plan. He trusts them. He's basically saying, go ahead, do your thing. If it feels right, play it. And it's not just Vinícius or Rodrigo. Mbappé, same deal. Bellingham, still doing it this season. None of them are glued to one position. Those formation graphics you see before a match might as well be for decoration. You'll see a 4-4-2 on paper. Vinícius and Mbappé up top, Rodrigo and Bellingham out wide, or maybe a 4-3-3 with Rodrigo, Vinícius, and Mbappé leading the charge while Bellingham runs the midfield. But when that whistle blows, forget it. Those forwards are everywhere, shifting, swapping, making defenders look lost, and it works. Madrid's attack is straight up lethal when they've got that kind of freedom. On that left wing, a nightmare for defenders. Mbappé, same story. Just look at what he did at PSG or even when he plays for France. And Rodrigo, different name, same problem for defenses. When Vinícius is out, Rodrigo slides right in like he was made for it. And when he's on the right, he's unstoppable every single time. And do you know what makes it all possible? One thing, Ancelotti's trust. But here's where it gets wild. People still don't give him his flowers. There's this weird vibe, like his success almost bothers some people. The ones who are obsessed with tactics, always looking for some complicated master plan. Like they just can't accept that sometimes the key to winning is as simple as understanding people. Sky Sports even ran a whole segment on it, asking different coaches who's changing the game. Who's the tactical genius? The innovator? Guardiola and De Zerbi got their flowers, but Ancelotti? Nowhere in sight. And that's when it clicks. If they think every one of his wins comes down to other people, they're missing something big. If you ever watch a Madrid game, you already know. Sometimes it feels like they're just out there freestyling. No rigid structure, no crazy tactical breakdowns, but somehow the goals keep coming. Look at the second leg against City. Mbappé was technically playing as a 9, but really, the man was everywhere. Left, right, middle, didn't matter. He scored from all 3 positions up front like it was nothing. That's Madrid for you. It doesn't always look like a masterclass on paper, but on the pitch, it just clicks. Now, don't get it twisted. Just because they don't look super structured in attack doesn't mean they're reckless. No, when they don't have the ball, Madrid is locked in. That part is non-negotiable. Against City, you could see it clear as day. They shut everything down, stayed organized, and waited for their moment. And once they got the ball, they flipped the switch. Before we continue, if you're loving this video so far, make sure to subscribe to Kicks with Seb so you never miss out on awesome content like this. Now, let's get back into the video. Ancelotti, the guy just gets it. He doesn't believe in overloading his players with a million instructions when they've got possession. He thinks too many coaches do that, and it kills creativity. Without the ball, yeah, that's where you need structure, effort, and teamwork. But once you have it, that's when he lets his players cook. And that's exactly why Madrid plays the way they do. People call it chaotic, say there's no real system. But no, this is the system. Let your best players shine. No overthinking, no holding them back. Just let them do what makes them special. And I mean, look at the results. It's working, right? Take Real Asensio, for example. He was solid with Castilla, sure, but this good? Nah, nobody saw that coming. He's been such a game changer that they're not even thinking about signing a new centre-back anymore. That's how much he's flipped the script. The way he drives the ball forward, the way he sprays those long balls, crazy. Both of his assists this season, straight up missiles from the back. And on top of that, the way he bulldozes through pressure, the man's a tank, 6 feet tall and built like he's been doing this forever. Now that Germany's back, he might get fewer minutes, but let's be real, he's already stamped his name on this squad. Madrid got themselves a real one, and the way he's been playing, he's earned that spot, no doubt. And then you got Ceballos. This season, he's been looking sharp. With Kroos gone, Ceballos could absolutely step up and fill that role. Ancelotti loves a midfielder who can do it all, and that's exactly what he brings. He can slot into different positions. Mostly plays as an 8, but also drops deep like a quarterback to build up play. He presses, finds those killer passes in the final third, and he's solid defensively too. Tracking back, yeah, he could tighten up there, but let's be honest, most of Madrid's squad could. He used to feel like an extra piece in the midfield, but now he's a real factor. He's out with an injury right now, but looking at that contract extension, from the club's perspective, that's looking like a really smart move. But if we're keeping it real, Madrid this season, yeah, it isn't what anybody expected. Like, how do you sign Kylian Mbappé, drop him into a squad that just ran through La Liga and the Champions League, and somehow not level up? On paper, they built a monster. Young, dangerous, ready to run the game for the next 5 years easy. But instead, it's looking real shaky out there. But here's the thing, it isn't rocket science. The problems are right there, clear as day. And better yet, there are ways to fix them, if Ancelotti can get Madrid playing like they should. First, let's talk about the Mbappé and Vinícius situation. This link-up was supposed to be straight fireworks, right? Instead, it's been more like a bad signal, just a bunch of static. And when Vinícius was out, oh, it got worse, like painfully worse. Now, maybe they're starting to figure it out, but if we're keeping it real, it's moving at a snail's pace. Here's the real issue. They're stepping on each other's toes. The whole plan was for Mbappé to stretch defenses, open up space, and make life easier for Vinícius. But right now, they're just clogging up the same lanes. If Madrid really wants to start steamrolling teams like they should, they have to fix that attack. But while everybody's been talking about the attack, here's the plot twist. Ancelotti isn't even worried about that. According to Relevo, he thinks Madrid's biggest problem is the defense. And honestly, he's not wrong.
Villarreal game, for an example, the back four was makeshift at best. What was it? Tchouaméni.
Madrid's backline has been slipping, making way too many individual mistakes. Mendy, Lamine Yamal had that man looking lost in El Clasico. Rudiger, he was a wall last year, but now he's struggling with those long balls. Militao, still trying to get back to his best after that ACL tear. And we all know that takes time, but the real problem, that right back spot. Carvajal going down with that knee injury in October was a straight up nightmare. The guy was on fire, finished 4th in the Ballon d'Or rankings. Yeah, he's getting up there in age, might have lost a step, but he was still locking things down. And without him, Madrid's defense has not been looking good. So now, Ancelotti's rolling out with Lucas Vazquez as a fill-in. And listen, Vazquez, the effort's never in question, but let's keep it real. He's a converted right winger, and sometimes you can really tell. Defensively, it gets rough. Physically, technically, he struggles, and the teams are all over it. They keep testing that right side, sending their fastest, trickiest wingers straight at him. Lookman, Rioja, Rafinha, even Idrissi from Pachuca. They all saw the weak spot and went right at him. And if Madrid doesn't figure this out soon, it's only gonna get uglier. But you know how Ancelotti is. Keeps it short, keeps it smooth. Hits you with, if a team doesn't have a clear identity, it's not a limit, it's a quality. And just like that, you see exactly how he moves. Everybody's always talking about Real Madrid and those insane last-minute comebacks. Some say it's the jersey, the history, the weight of the badge. But no, there's more to it. There's a mindset behind it. Playing it safe, sticking to your rule, trusting the plan, that gives players a sense of security. Just do your job and the goals will come. But when you're given the freedom to create, when you're told to make the big plays, to solve the game yourself, and to move and find those moments, that's when you feel like you can do anything. This could actually lead Real Madrid to another big win. Seriously, just, don't expect anyone to say it was Ancelotti's tactics that did it. What do you guys think? Is there some weird reaction to Ancelotti in the coaching world? Do you think he actually does have a tactical identity? Let us know in the comments below.